Hello everybody, welcome back. Today's video is going to be an ASMR video. It might be a little bit weird that my first video back in kind of a while is going to be ASMR. But I've been wanting to do some more ASMR style videos. And so, in today's video, I'm going to be doing a palette building kind of project with you guys on camera using this magnetic eyeshadow palette that I got on Amazon. I'm going to actually take out all of these little pans that are in here if I can grab them, because I'm not going to need those. And I'm going to be filling this palette with eyeshadows that I purchased from the brand Devinah. That's right, friends, I finally got some stuff from Devinah. I said at the end of the year last year that I wanted to try Devinah this year. So here we are. I am finally trying Devinah Cosmetics. Actually, I'm not going to be putting these on. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to be swatching them today either. I'm just going to build this little palette using the shadows that I purchased. Before we get into actually building the palette, let me show you a picture of like the concept image of what I want it to look like. I collaged that image using the promo images on their website, on the Devinah Cosmetics website. So I'm going to be building the palette based on that. I have all of the shadows to my right over here in a box in order, and I'm going to go shade by shade. I'm going to take them out of their packaging and I'm going to put them into the palette. So the first shade that I'm going to be putting into the palette is this one here. It's a beautiful multi-chrome eyeshadow called Thoosa. And by the way, the reason that I chose this palette from Amazon, this empty palette from Amazon, instead of one of the palettes that Devinah sells, is because all of the Devinah palettes are kind of just blank palettes. By the way, I like that these shadows have the names on the back on a little sticker. That's pretty great. Look how beautiful this one is. As I drop it. Let me see if I can get it back out of there without messing anything up. That's gonna actually go in that slot there. of shadow on the actual palette. I got a little bit of the shadow on the palette itself, but that's okay. So the reason that I wanted this palette is because it has these little spots that you can put the shadows into, and they'll kind of stay put where they are. I don't like those, empty palettes where there's a lot of space for things to move around. I like the idea of keeping them still, although, you know what, I want to test how magnetic they are. It seems to be keeping it in there. Hopefully this palette is good. It's from a brand called All One. I guess that's how you're supposed to say that, unless it's like Alwyn or something, but I'm reading it as All One. And yeah, so Devinah doesn't sell any palettes that are like this, where you can just put the shade in the little slot and it'll just kind of be there. I also like the division between the shades, because the way that this is, it won't be so easy to cross-contaminate the shades. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Okay, anyway, the next shade is this one here, Meraki. I don't know if that's really how you pronounce that, but that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. Meraki. I wanted some more neutral mattes in this palette. And, I mean, based on the pictures online, some of these shadows do look a little bit more bright in color, like the mattes. The way that they look in person is actually more muted, which is fine, but I'm gonna venture to guess that once they're on the actual lid, they will look a little bit more true to the colors that the brand was showing on the website, but we will see. This next shade is called Marshmallow Pillows. The concept for this color story was clearly kind of like pinky, purpley, and the shadow that kind of inspired this color story for me as I was creating this color story was actually the last shadow that I'm going to be putting in the palette. So we'll talk about it when we get to it. But that last shadow is really the shadow that informed the whole design. The next shade is called Salvatore. This is more of a cool-toned red. Wow, it's so beautiful. I think it has a little bit of little tiny bit of a shift, maybe. Actually, I don't know. But it's really, really beautiful. I'm gonna pop this one right over here. So that's the top row. Those are some of the lightest shadows that are going to be in the palette. So, something that I think is worth noting, these two shades, they're definitely very akin to one another, but this one is a multi-chrome. It's a lot more intense, whereas this one is more subdued, and I think that that's kind of nice to have, because maybe you don't always want to go with the super intense multi-chrome. Maybe you want something simpler and softer like that. I wanted this palette to give me the option to either go more soft and more neutral, or more poppy. Poppy, 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 poppy. So, the next shadow is called Tacenda, I think. I don't really know how to pronounce some of these names. I don't know. Yeah, this one definitely looks very like deep, kind of pinky purple. I think that's really beautiful. Do you think that that's beautiful? I like that a lot. This next one is another matte shadow. It's called Tessa. I actually have a little cousin named Tessa. So, can't really get it out. What the heck? So that was something that I had in mind when I was picking these shadows. I mean, obviously, I wanted this one in the palette anyway because it's beautiful, bright pink that I cannot get out of the packaging. But I like the fact that, there we go. I like the fact that it is named Tessa, and I do have a little cousin named Tessa. Okay. A nice bright pink matte for if I want to go a little more poppy. I feel like this palette is like my version of like a berry palette, you know? But like, usually with berry palettes, I don't know, I don't feel like berry palettes necessarily give you enough depth, or at least the ones that I have. This one is definitely going to have some depth, so the next shade, Virago. See these next to each other. So in the pictures, I think, was it this one that looked more pink and this one was more purple? I feel like this one here, kind of, I don't know, they're like different, but they're not like crazy different. I wonder how it looks on camera. I can't really see because the thing that's holding my phone is like right in the way. Oh, okay, you can kind of see the difference. Okay, yeah, this one looks a little bit lighter, but they are very similarly like kind of purple. This next one is a shimmer shadow, and it is called Gemma. And just like the other bright pink that was named Tessa, this shadow, this bright pink shadow, also shares a name with a family member of mine. My niece, my oldest niece, who is closer in age to me than either my brother or sister. So she's really more like my little sister than my niece. I have known her my whole life. Her name is Gemma. So it's nice to have that in here as well. Another matte shadow. This one is called Nemesis. Oh boy, this is gonna be another. Oh, okay. Thought it was gonna give me more trouble. This one's really nice. It's like a kind of like a rosy brown almost. It's really, really nice for those more neutral options. This is a matte and it's called Desma. I think that this one is much cooler in undertone. I feel like in the pan they maybe don't look super different, but I imagine they'll probably look a little bit more different, you know, swatched out or put on the eye. At least I'm hoping that that's true. You know what, looking at them in the camera, they do look pretty different. This is definitely much warmer and this is much cooler. I think that's beautiful so far. I hope that you agree. These last two are both going to be shimmers. This one here is called Starfire. It's a really beautiful one. Wow. Wow. It's beautiful. Sorry, my throat kind of whistled there when I said wow. Look at that. It's like a wow. Oh my gosh. I hope that that shimmer shows up on camera. Oh my gosh. That is so beautiful. I really, really love that. And now the last shadow. This shadow is the reason that I wanted to buy from Devinah. This one right here is called Midnight Sun. And this shadow is one that I've wanted for quite a while. This is a multi-chrome eyeshadow. And it's like a black that shifts like purple. Wow, like purpley, pinky. I think it can also shift like a little more like orange or gold or whatever. But that shadow right there was like the basis for the concept of this palette. Looking at this palette all put together, I'm feeling very proud. I think that this is beautiful. I really do love this. Wow, like, I'm looking at it in like columns. And I don't know, and even in like rows, I don't know, I just feel like it makes a lot of sense, like just to me personally. I don't know if you would agree, but I personally think that this is so beautiful and so perfect, and I can't wait to use it. Okay folks, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you love the palette. And if you want to see me do this again, I actually have more shadows coming from Devinah. And I have more of these all-one palettes that I'm going to be filling with those shadows. So if you want to see me do it in this format, this ASMR format, let me know. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you want to see me use this palette on camera, also let me know that as well. Alright, you guys. I hope that you have a great day or night. And I will be seeing you again very, very soon. Peace.